My latest project is restoring this 1970 Honda motorcycle seat. The customer mailed it to me with the pan already prepared. It's a really complex foam core. The customer purchased a very nice quality replacement cover. I'll start by laying out templates of the seat pan. I've got my compass set just above the lowest level in the pan. Keep the pencil upright. We'll follow this pan. A little ridge right in here in the center. I'll square up these reference lines on the ends. I'll clean up these lines a little bit with a colored pencil by laying it flat against the pan. Using a wax china marker, I'll lay out center reference down through the seat pan. I'll label each one of these ribs, keeping them right and left. I'll measure and lay out the center placement of each rib. Now I need to make a template for each one of these ribs. I slipped that stick under there to keep the seat stationary. I need to keep these templates even on both sides, square with the world. And I'll rough out this seat pan. I made reference lines for the outer edge of the seat pan. I need to bring in 1 inch for the outer edges and 1 inch for the center spine. I'll measure this spine here at the back rib. It's 1 inch thick there, so I'll lay that out. And it should square up and match up pretty closely on the outside. That looks like it's going to be around 1.25 inches or so. Right on. I'll come up 2 inches on these ribs here. I'll measure and double check that both sides are even. A little over 2 1/4. Right on. I need to mark out where each one of these ribs matches up to the spine. I'll match up these rib templates and establish a profile line. At the number 6 rib, this layer of 1-inch foam steps down to a 1/2 inch, and the spine has a little jag in it right here. I've laid out a center reference on some pattern paper. I need to make a template for the seat pan. Got to make sure that the references are squared up. I'll fold this in half and book match it to the other side. I'll put in a reference line where the two foam thicknesses meet at that number 6 rib. To avoid excessive overspray, I'll apply this glue to both surfaces with a scrap of foam. I'll dab the adhesive to both surfaces. Get a good cover on both sides there. I'll give it a minute to dry before I stick it in place. I need to make a paper template for this outside strip of foam. I've notched the paper where the two foam levels separate. I'll just kind of improvise some measurements along here. Where this tapers off to the front, I'll fit that to the pan after I cut the foam. I'll trim this back end for length after I cut the strip of foam. I'm going to use number 6 as my reference point. I've measured out the height of these ribs and measured it out, laid it out on my template in accordance with my previous marks. And I'll just kind of freehand in and connect the dots. I'll spray some adhesive down along the ends of these ribs and give it a minute to set up before I stick them in place. I set the pan in place and trimmed off the ends. I'm going to spray 2 or 3 light coats on here. Put just a little time in between coats to dry up. Okay, I've left this set aside long enough for the glue to remain tacky, but it's not wet. I'm going to carefully put the pan, line it up with my centers, and I'm not going to push it down just yet. I'll square this up. I need to work with this edge and make sure that it stays out along this profile. Well, that went together really nice.